students, now again we are coming with the lecture number 8, and here we are going to see the tuple data type again with the set data type. In the previous lecture we have seen in the tuple that whether the data is ordered, it is unchanged, and now we are going to see whether the duplication of the elements are there, some methods related to the tuple data type. Now, in this we can see that in tuple we have defined the elements B, 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 B. Here the 4 B elements are there, and in this tuple you can see that we are defining the 4 members which have the same value, and we are trying to count it. So, by using the count method we are again going for the counting of the number of elements which are repeated in the tuple. So, that means if this operation works, that means the duplication elements are allowed. One more thing, the duplication members are totally allowed in the tuple, not because of it's at a different positions, but because of indexing principle. It is just like that two names like Abhishek or Manish, but they have different roll numbers. The similar way here the same information or the data hold the different index numbers. So, here the index number is 1, 2, 3 and 6 and so on. So, here what we are saying that the index numbers are totally different, and due to this the duplications are allowed. The next thing is, now we are trying to count it by using the count method. The syntax for the count method is the variable followed by dot followed by the method and in bracket if something are there that is known as parameters. So, with this syntax you can see the my tuple variable is there. In this my tuple you can see this A, B, 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 E, F, B, H are there, and we are counting the B. So, we are just counting the number of B's which are available in my tuple. Here you can see we have 4 B's. So, the answer for this one is 4. Similarly, you can search the elements by using the index method. In the parameter we are passing the information, that is what type or what element you want to search for the specific index value. So, we are trying to find out the B and in my tuple. One thing must be noted here, that it is a search operation, that means once it is found it will stop it right there. That means whatever the counting starts from 0. So, whatever the encountered with the same information, that index number is reflected. Now, in this our my tuple you can see this B holds the index number 1. So, the answer is 1, because once something is matched it will just return its operation back, because it has already found B, but it does not means that it is going to search for rest of the 3. No, first come first serve basis this operation works. That means the index will reflect you only the index number which is encountered first. So, here the first B represents the 1 index number. Now, here you can see that in this the 4 and 1 is the output. The 4 is represented by this count for B, and the 1 is the index number for the first B, this is 1. The next thing is, we are going to delete the element or not, because the tuple is immutable. So, we are trying to remove some elements by using the same principle as in the list data type. The syntax was remaining the same for the subscription, that is your variable followed by the square bracket in this index number. So, the variable in bracket the index number. So, this is your subscription principle, and before that you used to the del keyword. So, here what we are using is we are using the del keyword, and we are trying to remove an element out of this tuple. Is it going to work or not? The answer is obviously it is not going to work, because if it is going to work then it can change itself, and once the change is taking place inside this data type, it no longer holds its status as immutable. So, due to its immutability, you cannot delete the element, but you can delete the variable. Yes, that is right. This right is given that you can delete the whole variable, but you cannot delete the element. So, it is a more specific property of the tuple which makes it unique from the list data type. So, here you can see that we are deleting the variable, that is del followed by the variable, and in that after we are trying to print some information, and you will get the again the type error for the first one, that is this my tuple 1 is not going to remove itself. This is your type error because the tuple object does not support the item deletion. In the next one you are going to get the name error because the variable is no more after performing the deleting operation on the variable. That means the variable is totally deleted from your memory. The next thing is we can join the operation by the tuple in tuple by using this plus operator. Now, in this plus operator you can use also use in tuple. So, what is happening here? We are adding the two tuples by using this plus operator. So, this ABCD followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, it is happening into a tuple and it is stored into the new tuple. That means, the new formation of the variable as tuple is taking place, but due to this what is happening? It is again forming the rigid data type. So, the last question here in this slide is, can you create a tuple with one element or not? Yes, I can create one element by using a comma. You can see it here. Before that, here you can see that yes, the operation plus is working to join the tuples. Yes. The next thing is we are creating a tuple with one element. You can see the important point is this comma. If you are not going to put this comma, it is treated as a integer data type, or if it is taken as a string element, it is taken as the string, because until and unless you are putting this comma, it is not going to call for the tuple data. But once you have put this comma, now this data type is totally refined to tuple data type. So, here you can see the 10 comma is representing your tuple with one element and the class holds is tuple. So, that is all in the tuple data type, and now we are going for the third collection data type known as the set data type. In this set data type, we are going to see the characteristics totally related to the set, that is the first one is totally unordered, next one is non-indexed, and last one is no duplication allowed. You have seen in the maths we are using the curly brackets to represent the set. In that you can see that the duplication of the elements are not allowed. So, we are going in detail regarding the set data type, and now you can see that it is a collection of data type, but unordered data type. The next important point is it is unchangeable. So, the similarity between the tuple and the set data type is it is totally unchangeable, but the difference between the tuple and the set data type is this is totally unordered data type. When I am saying it is unordered, that means there is no principle working for holding these data types. Now, here next important thing is this curly bracket. The square bracket is representing list, round bracket is representing tuple. So, the curly bracket is representing set. So, in this set data type you can see that we again have these three elements apple, banana, cherry, and it is separated by commas placed under this curly brackets. So, this is the set data type in which these elements are totally unordered. Now, how this unordered is working inside the set? Now, we are looking at this example, we are trying to subscribe this set data type for one index number. is the index for principal is available under the set data type? You can see no, it is creating the type error, the set objects is not subscriptable. That means the subscription principle does not apply on set data type. That means the set objects are totally independent of these principles. So, here this type error directly shows that the set data type does not hold as per the index number, that is totally unordered. The next thing is we are going for directly for the search, that you can search the elements by using the membership operator. Here the membership operator is in, not in. Similarly, the identity operators was is not. It is not is, it not is not the identity operator. So, you must be careful about this not in. So, we are using these membership operators in order to see whether the cat and the cool is available inside the set data type or not. For this cat, the answer will be in the Boolean data type and it is regarded as false. Similarly, the next one is also false. No, the next one is not false, it is the opposite of not, because the cool is not in my set. Yes, the cool is not available under your my set. Next thing is, now when we are trying to say the number of elements lying under a given set, then you can see that here it must be the set. So, here when we are finding the number of items or the number of elements under your variable my set, you can directly use the len function, and the good practice is if you are going to use this print function, because the print function is the only function available to give you the output. You can justify it by running the program, and here you can see this false and true, and the last one is 3 because we have 3 elements. Next thing is we are trying to add some elements. Now, there are some specific methods available for the set data type, and those specific methods are add and update. This add and update is used to add the elements, and you can see here that we are trying to use to add this D element to my set. In my set we have 3 elements and we are trying to add this 4th element. So, this is done by using the add method. In this add method you can see that we are adding the element D, and it is just as a method syntax name, that is variable followed by method followed by the parameter. So, this is the syntax, that is how we are going to use a method, and in this the variable followed by method, in bracket the parameters are there, and by this help you can add this D element to this set. The next thing is, now this method is little bit tricky, this update method. Why it is tricky? So, before I am going to disclose the principle behind this update, that how this update is working, let us check the output of this thing first. Now, here you are going to see the output that we are trying to update the elephant, that means we are trying to add this elephant to the given set, but instead of elephant what we get here, it is A, B, H, N, T, A, T, D, C, E, E, P, but we have tried to add the elephant. So, what is happening? Something has happened, and what is that? Well, actually right now what is happening is, now this elephant is totally disintegrated into the strings of one element. That means, the elephant is totally disintegrated into 8 strings. Those are E, small l, small e, small p, small h, small a, small n and small t. That means, these totally 8 characters are added to your list, to your set data type, and the set has the property that duplications are not allowed. So, you can see that that if the elements hold some duplicate values, it will directly remove from your set data type. Now, what is happening when you are performing things into a bracket? It is directly added. You can see the cat, big and dip. It is directly added under this one. That means whenever you are going for the update method, you need to use the collection data type. We are using here the tuple data type, and due to this the whole information is directly stored, or you can say directly added to your set. Otherwise, if you are not going for the collection data type, what is happening? It will disintegrate the same string into the number of the strings with one element and then add one by one. Now, look at this one. When we are adding the dip, big and cat, again it is going to disintegrate them, and due to this you can see that we have the number of elements. I think so the number of elements are more than 10 in this. So, the important note point here while using the update method is, whenever you are going to use the update method, the collection data type must be there as a parameter, otherwise it will disintegrate the whole strings one by one. Next thing is, now we are going to remove the elements from the given set, and in this regard we have two methods. One is remove, the second one is discard. So, when we are using the remove method and when we are using the discard method, what is the difference? It is the last question. So, when we are using the remove method and the discard method, the name is same, name is different, rest is the function is same. You can see we are removing the D element, we are discarding the E element from the given set. But what is the difference? The difference lies when the element is not available. So, when the element is not available, what will happen? Before that, you can see the outputs of the remove and discard. You can see that in the first we have the 5 elements. After removal of D, you have A, B, C and E, and after the discard of E, you will have A, C, B. So, next thing is, if the element is missing and you are performing a discard or remove method on it, what is happening? So, in first step, what is happening? The E is removed, but again in the next step you are asking for the E. That means right now there is nothing related to the E data type. That means right now this E is missing in my set. So, once the element is missing under my set, that means the discard method will not alert you. That means it will not raise any error. You can see in the discard method the output is directly as it is, because it is not alarming. But what about the remove method? It is alarming, because right now the D element is not available. Since D element is not available, it is directly saying that this D element is missing and I cannot perform the operation. So, this is the basic difference between a remove and discard. The remove is used to alarm you if the missing data is encountered. The next thing is, we are going to remove it by using the pop method. Now, this is also very important, because when we are using a list data type, you have seen in that the pop without the index number works as it will directly remove the last element. But what about the set data type? Now, in set, the pop will remove the very first element in your current my set variable. Here the my set, you can see the order A, B, C, D, E, but while running the program you can see the order is totally changed. It is B, D, A, C. So, this proves that the set data type is totally unordered data type. Similarly, here you can see that this E element is at the beginning of this one. That means the pop method removes the element from the beginning. Next thing is, when we are using the clear method on the set, what is happening? the set data is forming, but with the empty elements, or there is no single element lying under the set. Can we join the two sets together? Is it possible? No, it is cannot be possible in the set data type. This is the hidden question. Here you can see it is totally unsupport the operand plus in the set data type, and due to this what is happening, that it is totally unsupporting this plus operand. The next thing is we have some methods like the union, the update method. In the union method and the update method, here you can see that in union we are making the union between the set 1 and set 2, and the information is stored in the third variable as set 3. But what is happening in the update, this value is totally updated in set 1. That means, in the union you can see the data is reflecting in the new set, but in the update method the same data is updated in the set 1. So, this is a very important point between the union and the update method. Here the difference totally lies in the returning value or the returning style. You can see it here that we are calling the set 3 and we are getting the output as a union, but here we are just putting the set 1 and we are getting the output as the whole union by using the update method. Now, the next question arises related to the set is, can you change the list and the tuple into a set or not? Yes, it is possible. You can change the set data type as well as you can interchange the data type between a list and the set along with tuple and set. How we are going to convert this thing is by using the type conversion process known as casting. In casting, what we are doing is we are invoking the constructor, the set on the list data type, and the output of this one is, you can see it is a totally set 1. So, the list is totally converted into a set. Similarly, the next one is we have converted the tuple into the set data type. You just need to put the set constructor. So, here we are using the help, we are taking the help of the set constructor to change the data. The last thing related to the set is the frozen set. Now, the froze means it is totally rigid. So, the frozen set is a special case of the set data types, and the second thing is about the set data type, that is the frozen data type, it is immutable. The set data types are totally mutable, but here this frozen set is totally immutable. So, this is the difference between a frozen set and a set. In this, here you can see it is totally immutable in nature. Now, look at the program of related to the frozen set. Here we have created a set and we are trying to define a frozen set for the same data. Now, look at this one. In the output you can see we are defining B, D, C, A and E. These 5 elements are the set data type because the order are totally different. But what about the frozen set? Now, here you can see again the order is totally randomized because it totally depends on this one. This is the culprit on which this thing depends, and here you can see the frozen set is developed from this thing, but this data is totally taken as a frozen set. That means, this is totally immutable, just like a tuple. The tuple is immutable. The next thing is, now we are going to prove that frozen data types are immutable. Now, here you can see that we are trying to remove the element from my set. The my set is a set data type, and here it is a frozen data type. So, we are performing the remove method and we have successfully removed the D element from this set. But what about the frozen set given the name of Y set? What is happening here is this frozen set is not working with remove. Why it is not working? Let us see why it is not working. So, it is not working because of attribute error. The attribute error directly says that this thing applies. You know, here this remove method is specified for the set data type, but here this remove it is not defined for the frozen set. So, here you can see this attribute error directly says that the frozen set object has no attribute remove. That means, this thing is totally not applicable to the frozen set, because the frozen sets are totally immutable. The name frozen directly represents that it is totally immutable. Okay. So, with these things I just conclude my lecture, that we have seen some tuple methods. In tuple methods what we have seen, that how the datas are removed, after that how the datas are deleted. We can not delete the single elements in tuple data type, but we can remove the datas one by one in the set data types. In that set there is a specified part that is known as frozen set, that is totally immutable. The immutable directly means that the data cannot be removed as a part. So, the frozen sets cannot be changed, they are totally immutable with lying to the same principle as set, but they hold the property as immutable. So, the set data types are mutable, unordered, but the duplications are not allowed, but in the frozen set it is unordered, but that order is totally fixed. The second thing is you cannot change the values. Again, the duplication of the elements are not allowed in the frozen set. So, with this thing I thank you all for listening me. Thank you.